What's up, people? Happy Thursday. I wonder if I can show you real quick. See all that snow coming down? It was 70 yesterday and sunny. It goes back to 70 in 2 days. We got like 3 feet today in my backyard.
Really?
Oh my!
Like it's just ridiculous. It's a 4 seasons in a day or 2 day type deal. But anyway, we're here. Somehow, I'm going to use this moment before I introduce the panel. I'm going to use this moment to tell everybody that we all appreciate, obviously, every person that watches these and leaves live chats. Recognize that, and I don't know why, Kim doesn't know why, and we don't know why or when it does it or whatnot. But if you come into like put notify me because you see a live coming up the next day, and you go into the live chat and you put a comment and it's gone or we don't respond to it when we start, we absolutely would if we saw it. So there's something about they kind of like right close to the live, they just pull everything out. So I had a comment in mind, it's gone, that I was going to bring up. And then I know in Kim's there was a new member, David. Don't know your last name, don't know your handle, don't know anything about you, but welcome to Kim's channel, David. But they do disappear, guys. It has nothing to do with like you, the individual or whatever, it just wipes the slate clean, but it leaves it on the first day or whatever. It doesn't make any sense. But let me introduce this awesome panel of people. We got, look at that, the first time. Cheyenne, gig work mama, right? And then 2 over, we got Kim's Side Money Plans. Right below me, we got Acacia. And next to Acacia, that way down, we got Jerry Garcia, Mr. Tom Kelly. Looks like he's recovering well. He's doing the Queen wave. Hello.
Yeah. We're good.
That wave busts me up, dude. I never got that. But one thing we're going to talk about, I did invite Vinny Coos to tonight. So I thought he was down there right now. So Vinny, if you're out there, I was only inviting him. I mean, he could stay for the whole time, obviously. Vinny, Mr. Rideshare Garage, he's been on before, good friend, because we're going to talk about some rideshare. I do have Tom here too, but Vinny's been doing a ton of rideshare for a while. We got something new coming in Colorado to add on to all this other crap. It's a whole new House bill that already is done. They just had the first hearing for it today, and it's really pretty crazy. But first, I want to ask Kim and Acacia and Cheyenne, because Tom, I know you don't do DoorDash, but I had something very strange happen to me on DoorDash, and it might not be strange at all. Maybe this is just what it does. All 3 of you have your DoorDash set up to use another navigation app immediately?
Yes.
No, I use the in-app, like the in-app.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in-app, and Kim, you got something else set up.
Yeah, never use it after.
So the reason, I mean, I know I don't like to either, but the reason I'm doing it is because I'm trying to play with it and test with it, right?
Wait. Why don't use in-app?
Because they try and send you ways that might pass you by a Taco Bell or something and might want to add on to it. It'll always be a crappy add-on, at least from what I've
I don't trust it.
Yeah. And it's not like, I mean, like if I open Waze, Google Maps, Apple Maps, and in-app for DoorDash, there's always a faster route than the DoorDash route. And it's always a route I could look at and go, that's a better route. I'm going to do that. So, but I'm doing the in-app because I want to see something. So I was dropping off a curry. This was like 2 days ago. It's been a busy week. I was dropping off a curry in a zone I don't dash in much. And I had also a delivered in about an hour and a half, right near where I dropped the curry off. I opened up DoorDash and it said dash now because it was pink or red or whatever. I'm still not a Kim, but I do have I'm still double digits. We'll get to that, but
better than me.
But so I was able to dash now. I turned it on and my total dash time was like 37 minutes and 34 minutes and 31 of it I worked was active. So I call it all real time. So it was 34 minutes, but 31 minutes of that I was on. But I was following the in-app navigation, and it said I was picking up at the restaurant. I made it to the restaurant. Obviously, I know that if somebody lets an order go, if another person does, it's going to be late, you know? So I'm around the corner. They do their best they can, and they say you need to pick this up in 3 minutes. I get to the parking lot in 2 minutes. I'm a minute early. I knew that probably had been released already. Get in there. It's already ready. Got it. I got it exactly at the minute I'm supposed to. And then I hit on my way to delivery, or went to the next phase, hit navigate, and it says, and if you're not familiar with the in-app, Kim, although I'm pretty sure you are, if it displays in the minutes, it says either the arrival time or how many minutes it is in the in-app, and it's green. That means you're going to make it by the delivery time. If it's red, the time in the in-app nav, if it's red, it means you're not. Almost always it comes up green right away. Mine did, and it said 10:53 a.m. Said I had like 18 minutes. I got to, there was a big jam on the highway. They were taking me a weird way. And I didn't switch apps. I just know Denver well enough. And I exited. I took another way. And I don't know, also, like Cheyenne and Acacia, you'll know, it'll say like minus 1 minute, 10 seconds or plus 35 seconds. So I'm thinking, okay, so it's saying that that's going to take me 35 seconds more. This is going to be minus a minute. And like sometimes it doesn't even do it till I make a move. So I make this move and it says minus 1 minute. Well, to me, that means I made a good decision. I'm going to be minus 1 minute. The second it did that, and I took a very different route, I ended up getting there exactly on time, but it wasn't 10:53. The minute I turned off their route, the time that I was now due, and I have all the screenshots, I just wasn't able to black out addresses and stuff before we went live. But the second I did that, and I've got like lots of screenshots that timeline this, it was due at 12:50, not 12:53 a.m.
What?
Because I took a way that shaved a minute off. You'll get there a minute earlier. Well,
yeah,
first of all, even if you just took a minute off, what do you mean? Like it's still like the dude on the others, the person ordering should see 10:53. That's all they should ever see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Like, I mean, I guarantee on his end, I guarantee it did not switch it to like 10:53, and then it says, will arrive, because it always, as a customer, I don't know DoorDash's, but Uber Eats is pretty straightforward. It says your driver will arrive on or before. So before is just an expected. So they don't let you know that and tell you. So why did that do that? Because I picked a quicker route. And again, I know that a lot of times what I've noticed from that testing is it'll like, for me, Colfax is right here. Colorado people, what up? Colfax is Colfax. It'll send me down Colfax all the time, hoping that something gets pinged and I have to pick something else up or decline it. But I would normally avoid that at all costs. I'm doing this as testing. It had me on the highway going their way. So there wasn't going to be any add-ons. The way I went, there actually could have been an add-on. I wouldn't have done it, but there could have been. So nothing at all made sense. What the hell does this mean? That goes for chat. You guys, anybody, even Tom doesn't do DoorDash. Like, what did that mean? What happened there?
Maybe this is a market thing, because I've always, like, in all of my apps, it's always tried to use the time, like it's always tried to use the route that had the fastest speed limit and had the fastest arrival time. So like I notoriously have a route where that's like a lot shorter, like 1.5 miles shorter, but there's more lights and traffic. So it always takes me the highway that goes around that's longer, but technically faster. So like, and the highway route doesn't.
ETA will always override miles. I know that. If you have it's 3 miles, but they can get you there 3 minutes earlier by taking you 8 miles on a highway, they're going to do that.
Yeah. That's all I've ever seen, though, is just based on travel time. So I don't know. I've never dealt with that.
And I thought those white lines that say plus or minus, I thought those were just to let you know. See, here's how I view it. And that's why I'm explaining this so detailed, because here's how I view it was like, hey, in case you know this shortcut, right now it's actually adding 30 seconds. I didn't think it was like showing me these other options, like do these. It was still keeping me on the in-app nav, but I could see plus 1 minute or minus 30 seconds. I could look at that and go, that's not going to be minus 30 seconds because then I got to take that right. That goes up to a stop sign. It's a 4-way stop, takes forever always. It's going to add a minute. Like, I know. And these, again, you know, them keeping track of our driver telematics. The fact that they can't even do this, like they have the worst navigation in the planet. It's like the things on their app don't work. So what I did in this whole timeline, and I might end up, because Kim is the queen of DoorDash, right? She does all these DoorDash videos. I might end up putting them in sequence and sending them to you numbered, Kim, with like a little note sheet that says what each one is and with everything crossed out so that you can show this. Because I would like Kim to do it where she gets the attention of a lot of DoorDash people, because they absolutely, I mean, like I the other day, or 2 weeks ago, I did 13 minutes and all these reasons DoorDash is breaking the law. But I mean, like, this is going overboard. This is ridiculous. They don't, at the very end of all this, and it doesn't happen every time, I get a telematics score. I take a screenshot of that too. Rapid acceleration, hard braking. I'm in the red. It says +6 on one, +8 on the other. And I'm like, dude, I was late or just to the minute on time. I have me 20 miles over the speed limit. You didn't hear that, Denver police. It was a test. But I have me 20 miles over the speed limit in the in-app nav that now turns red, snapping those shots too, going there, showing that I'm double.
Why are you even paying attention to telematics?
I never look at that.
Because they're not, because I understand telematics and I understand that DoorDash is not doing it. They are doing a weak ass version, like everything. And to be honest, I think unless you just hate it that bad, it doesn't come every time. I want to see it. I want to see how, because I mean, we don't use this for anything really, because people don't take the time to integrate something and collect data unless they're using it for something.
Honestly,
Just doesn't
I think
happen.
that's about telematics.
But I want to see what they're rating me. They're literally going off like your fitness on your fitness part of your phone. Real telematics works as real telematics.
Who's rating you? Like the
DoorDash? Yeah.
They're rating your driving habits?
Yeah.
Yes, you go to like the safe driving features or whatever.
But it's not everywhere. And she's in New Hampshire in a smaller market. Maybe it's not.
I've never
seen
it.
This is my theory. Like, I live in a small state where you're going to be hard braking. You're going to have traffic. You're going to have all of that stuff. So why even look at it? Like that's the whole thing. Like why? Like
because what
do you care? It doesn't,
because they're taking it and they're selling it. Why shouldn't I look? I don't care.
But you can't.
That's my point. I don't care.
No,
but I think it's funny that I have an on-time rating. I have to make that deadline, and then at the end and that's why I just did that one order on this dash. The screenshots I would send you would show one dash done in just this one specific amount of time. Barely made it. How hard I had to like fight to make it, and then they're like, "You're not driving good." Well, then don't give me a time that I have to be there. And B, if I take a secondary route to your stupid app, do not reduce the time I have to be there.
But why pay attention to something that's not going to affect you getting orders or the money you're making? Like, to me, if it's not affecting my money, if it's not affecting the orders I'm taking, I don't give a crap if it's on the bet. Let them do whatever they want to do. It doesn't affect anything I'm doing for me personally.
Can you guys disable yours? Because I can't disable mine. And some people in the chat
nobody can disable it, but you can turn the overlay off.
You can turn it off, like so you don't get the alert.
You can turn it off so you don't see it, but they're still keeping
that's what
the
I do.
metric on you.
But they're still checking.
So who cares? They're still going to do it regardless. Like, what do you care? They're going to do it regardless. They're going to report whatever they want anyway. You can't affect it.
So here's why. Because as you know, I mean, I talk to lawmakers and stuff all the time. You did out here too, and I really have been lately with a lot of this other stuff going on too. I'm bringing all this up because everybody's wondering how everything's going. Well, they're doing the old Domino's bullshit and trying to get people killed here. I mean, like you cannot say to me, you have to be there by 10:53. Oh, you went this cool way. Now you have to be there by 10:50. Don't drive fast and don't brake hard.
Can I tell you something, Steve? You can be there up to 7 minutes after the predicted time without penalty. Did you know that?
But
Or 6
they
minutes.
are looking at people's acceptance, or what is it, Tim? On time or saying on time? On time is a metric they use, and oddly, they use the rolling metric for your AR of 100, but for your on time, they use your entire lifetime of deliveries.
Which makes no sense.
See, I don't have that yet. There's so many places that have that. I don't have that yet.
What?
Does that affect the orders you get?
The on time that everybody else is having, like, where you get like contract violations and like your on time rate is very specific. Like, I don't have that in my market yet.
What's your on time rate?
It's been at 93% since I started the app. 6
Okay,
years
right.
ago.
I was gonna say, Kim, you're up what, just shy of 17,000 dashes.
Yeah.
Okay, so you could probably do 200 in a row, not be on time at any of them, it wouldn't change. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if they put it on the it's weird that they have a rolling metric that's like the last 100 offers we've given you, your acceptance rate is this. Well, what my on time's been getting a lot better than it used to be. Yeah, but that's based on all 16,742 rides you've done.
A question: if you don't actually get whacked, like if you're not actually late enough for them to like say something to you or give you a violation or affect your rating, like if you were 3-4 minutes late on a regular basis or occasionally,
1 minute late is late.
But does that affect that metric you're talking about? Like your on time rate?
I mean, enough of them for the average driver that might have 5 to like 3,000 or 2,000 dashes. Plus maybe part-timers, but not like a Kim. No, Kim, like I said, Kim could probably go 500 in a row, not be on time for any of them.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even move. It would still be 93. But also, she could go 700 in a row and be a minute early on all of them. She'd still be at 93.
Maybe.
It works both ways.
Yeah, that number does not never change.
So why not just move it all to the last 100? First of all, it's all illegal. Then they got everything set. This is as fixed. This is more fixed than slot machines in Vegas and everywhere else. Tom?
Tom's like, dude, I don't do DoorDash. I'm good.
Exactly. He's like, this is why I don't do DoorDash.
I know, but Tom, after everything I just said, with all different metrics and knowing slot machines and gambling.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. It is set up. Again, who stands to benefit?
Well, it seems like they want to find a way to hit you at least once, if not 3 times on each delivery. You were late. You sped. You stopped too quick. I'm not multi-apping. I just did A to B and I was on time. What are you talking about?
Well, what do they do with that though? With those,
I wonder if a customer says like let's say their pizza order got delivered and in the box the pizza was all messy. If they can actually look at the driver's break-in and see like, oh, they stopped suddenly with that order,
Look, guys,
so it's the driver's fault kind of thing.
Here's the thing. All over, especially in Colorado, we've got this. You can't cancel me from being a driver. You can't decline me, whatever. For no good reason, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so DoorDash is going to have a good reason for even Kim has to admit that not every single delivery was her best driving job ever. Right, Kim?
Sure.
There have been a couple where you went, yeah, okay, I kind of blew through that red light, and maybe I didn't Complete stop at
Yeah, I
that
don't blow
stuff.
through red lights. I drive like a grandma.
You know what? I bet you with Kim's new car, I bet you she blows every light in town.
I do not. I drive like a grandma. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. You stop on yellow, whatever. They want to have something on everybody so that when they do have to cut you for whatever reason they want to, including they just want to, they can say, yeah, but look at Steve, come on, bro, look, you're slamming on your brakes, you're speeding, you're not the kind of driver we want here.
I drive like absolute.
You're not
shit.
the
Like,
kind of
when I'm
company
doing-
I want to be with, man. Look at my shirt. What up, Marco?
I don't know. I drive like a NASCAR driver personally. Like I run 3 apps, and sometimes I'm on a quadruple order. Like no shit, I'll take 2 from Uber, and I got 1 from Grubhub, and I got 1 from DoorDash, and I'm like doing the math in my head. Like if I take this route at like 50 over the limit, and I blow that red light, I can get them all in like within 5 minutes of the arrival time, and like that's how I deliver all the time because I have to make adequate money.
50 over the limit.
That's an exaggeration.
I was like, and you guys are
Is
in
it
miles. Wait.
I regularly go 20 over the limit if it's like a back road and there's no cops, but
Yeah.
safely,
Yeah.
But I've been doing that for like 8 years. Like it's probably 6 or 7 years more accurately, and I've seen no effect.
Yeah.
The only thing I see is if I'm over 7 minutes late. Yeah.
Yeah.
For those of you who are Game of Thrones fans, remember Littlefinger. Whenever I'm in a position, I think, what is their motivation? What do they want? Yeah. What does DoorDash want? They need to have something bad on you.
What's little finger? You mean the hand?
No, the character.
character.
What's Lord Baelish? Lord Baelish.
Yeah.
No order is worth me getting a ticket and points.
No.
And
And that's
higher
not what I'm
insurance.
saying.
There's
That's
no
not
way.
what that's absolutely not what I'm saying. And most of the people in here probably have this at least somewhat close to the same thing as Kim. You have enough deliveries under your belt. You're not going to change your on time now. It's probably locked. Here's my point though. That used to be on time at the same time when remember during Top Dasher you could like unassign 1 out of every 5 and still be cool. You had to have like 80% completion.
Mhm.
Do you remember this? Kim, you
Wait,
should.
Wait, what? I
Remember
missed
when 80% completion ratio was like acceptable? And then they
Yeah, that was
warned
like a year
everybody
ago.
and said, yeah, and they said, we're going to move it up to 90 and you better get there. And I think they gave a lot of people resets and whatnot. I didn't never get
Where
one,
reset
but
lasted
nonetheless.
like a few hours.
Right. But so isn't that this? I mean, that's the same threat I've heard about. And if you go into it, the on time metric, it says if you fall under 90, it basically says that's not good. Don't do that. But I mean, like we know that could turn into you're deactivated, or whatever. But with the telematics that I see everybody, so I'm just going to hit you up with it one last time, guys. I am not going to turn it off. I do studies. I turn it into lawmakers. I send this shit to everybody. DoorDash hates that I do this, so I love doing it. It's what I do. I find out everything going wrong with the app. I talk to other people too, but the telematics is already being sold off in counties to auto insurance companies as anonymous data. So they're not like saying Steve or Acacia or Kim or Cheyenne or Tom, but they're saying that, hey, for this county, here's the anonymous data we gathered from our drivers. First of all, again, Kim and I did some work with Display Ride. That's a true autonomous metric that gives you a lot of metrics. This one gives you 2. It's really stupid. It's just red or green. It's an overlay. It only works from the fitness part of an app. So it's not even true telematics, but they're calling it that. They're selling it as that to other people. Again, another way of selling our data. I leave it on because I don't do dash all the time. So, and it doesn't do it every dash. I like to see when they give it to me. I like to see what it says.
They can report my shit all they want. I'm still making $50 an hour, like hustling my ass around. So, like, I don't care. They've taken no action. So,
yeah,
whatever.
So, and then I wanted to real quickly shout out to Derek. He's in my market. Derek has been on the Curry waiting list for over 2 years, and he got off this week.
Oh my god.
Yay!
That's really long.
So all you Curry waitlist people, I know another person that was 2+ that just got off of a few weeks back. So the list still exists. It's still in place. Everybody's good. But that was my story. I don't know. I'm going to play with it a little more. I think there's some really sketchy things. And I think Tom was kind of hitting on it, especially here in Colorado, like all the drivers now. But again, like it was snowing today, so it's all red. A lot of the illegal accounts are going away. You know, I don't know. They, you know, like I think I showed you or I sent it to you, maybe Kim. Instacart made me take a picture of the front of my ID and it made me flip it and scan the barcode on the back to get on this weekend.
They did that a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I mean, so last weekend it made me do that. I thought that I'm like, huh? So you did that after all the illegal accounts are getting fixed, huh?
No,
that was doable. That was doable 2 years ago.
But Instacart, in my opinion, has, out of all of them, has done one of the best jobs as far as, you know, making sure pictures are taken and IDs are up and checked. Like they've done, in my opinion, out of all of them, they've done, besides Uber, they've done a pretty decent job.
Yeah, every time I go on Instacart, I have to do that.
But none of them do a good job.
I'm just saying, out of all of them, though, like they do,
right?
In my opinion, besides Uber Eats, like they do a pretty decent job at like randomly doing it throughout and consistently.
And that's what they should do. I'm sure DoorDash doesn't bother because they need as many drivers as possible to get those crappy orders delivered. So they don't care probably who's doing it, as long as they're doing the job. You know?
Yeah.
So here we go. I've got some fun stuff for us. So in Colorado, you guys know that the TNC law for rideshare passed on went into effect February 1st of this year, and the DNC for delivery went into effect on January 1st, where complete transparency is necessary. They have to show how many miles. They have to show the total tip. It can't change the total base pay, the total together, even on the food delivery, passengers, everything. They have to show it all up front before you accept it. It's what we asked for, and we didn't get any stupid minimum wage crap like Prop 22 or other states. We didn't want that. We just wanted the transparency. It's what we've been fighting for. Well, now check this out. So the newest thing, and I didn't even know this was coming until I heard a couple whispers about it. Tony, the Driven Dad, and I talked about it last night a little bit because today was the first day that the bill was heard. That Uber and Lyft rides will require video monitoring under bill for its first hearing today if some things that we'll go through aren't met. So basically, that instead of the facial thing that doesn't work, they are saying that if you don't do what we're about to go through and talk about, they're gonna give you cameras. They're gonna give you a camera. And what they're telling to the customers and other things is, don't worry with the camera. This means the whole ride doesn't need to be recorded. It just the beginning does to make sure you're you and that the driver's him. I don't know if that's human review or what, but they're pushing the hell out of this. So let me bring up these screenshots. I hope they're legible. I think they are. So this is remember what happens whenever this happens, the same thing happens. All the apps send out all the drivers, everything, right? So this is the bulk of the email. It's split into two screenshots. So this is from Uber. My name is Trace, or this is from Uber's public policy team. My name is Tracy. I'm with Uber Public Policy. Firstly, thank you for previously sharing that you stated for Uber driver survey. I'm contacting you because we are currently looking for drivers who would be willing to share with their elected officials, Colorado House representatives, why Uber is important to them. Unfortunately, new protocols proposed and this is the new bill, HB 25-1291, would complicate background checks for drivers and potentially jeopardize Uber's operation in Colorado. It is important that your Colorado representative understand the role that Uber plays in your life so they can have full understanding of how their decisions would impact drivers like you. Now, This is from I will put a link here in a second into it's an 11-page bill that is, so this is before each prearranged ride. So this is what they're going to have to do before each rideshare ride. Doesn't matter the company, all of them. They're going to have to do an in-vehicle dash cam surveillance of the people and make sure they're who they say they are, or a live self-identification photograph, or they can request a video. Biometric verification with fingerprint or optical scan. And then the last one is just kind of left open-ended, or anything else that would be of this level. Like no more facial recognition because it doesn't work. Again, this is what I've been saying. And so this is what they're going to require. That's why Uber's best move right now is just to put a dash cam in and go, well, whatever, this sucks. But here's the meat of what they hope the bill does. So the bill requires TNC to develop policies to prevent imposter accounts, account sharing, and account renting, prevent sexual assault, physical assault, homicide against or committed by the TNC drivers, and allow drivers and riders to opt out of continuous audio and video recording during a prearranged ride. The following actions are made a deceptive trade practice in violation with the Colorado Consumer Protection Act, a violation of the Transportation Network Company Act, and altering the rating that a passenger assigned a driver on a TNC's digital network, or assigning an automatic or default driver rating that the rider never did assign. Did you follow that last part? Like if you're an average 3-4 driver, they might just default you a 3. Again, another way just to stack some things on, like Tom was saying, be able to deactivate you. Like, oh, the rider didn't rate you. We'll rate you. Red. Tom, you do rideshare. What are your thoughts?
I believe that every driver should record every rideshare on camera all the time, 24/7.
Well, that's still that in all this, that is still your right though. You can still do that regardless. This is if they have to do it through their camera as well. If you had 2 cameras,
I believe every rideshare driver should record everything they do, and that belongs to the rideshare driver. And just like in any other business, they cannot force you to be recorded for doing different things unless you meet a whole list of things. Like Walgreens, let's say that it's covering the Walgreens cash register, and you happen to know that it's there. That belongs to Walgreens. It does not belong to the state. Who owns this? The state owns the recording.
Oh, I mean, think about all the times that Uber had us opt in and out of audio recordings. Of who owns those? Where are those? I mean, they don't do it in this market anymore, but 2 different times they launched audio recording. I opted out both times, but like, if you were in it, where are your recordings? Who has it?
But the thing is, they can't. I think this would just take one good civil rights lawyer to, make this not happen. They can't put a camera in your car and make you record.
Well, that's why there's these alternatives. Actually, this Uber's trying to get the damn camera in there. They're trying to, first of all, they just want to get out of it. I mean, Uber does, but what this state's really going for is what I've been talking about. We're not doing real checks. So like, I mean, a biometric verification, fingerprint, optical scan, this is pretty looking into the future. This stuff's coming sooner than autonomous driving, you guys. And it's going to be, I mean, look, let's make something perfectly clear. My iPhone or anybody's iPhone, I'm not sure about Androids and how theirs works, the technology level it's at. It actually does. When I had Incognia's CEO on, who does all of the security for all these apps, he was explaining, well, an iPhone app, if you have it set to do your picture when you pick it up, it actually isn't just going, yeah, okay, cool. It actually is doing a scan that none of the apps can do. It's doing it and it's saying, yep, that's him. Unlock the phone. So there is a way to do this. They just don't want to do it. So they do this fake way so you think you're safe. Now they're saying, well, we're stepping ahead into the future a little bit. And if it's, look, Tony and I were talking about it last night. And Tony, Driven Dad, is against every piece of legislation that's ever been written. I try to be as well. I don't know, still digesting it, but he's of the opinion, man, this would be awesome because we would make money again doing rideshare. He goes, because all the illegals would have to stop. All the doubling up accounts would have to stop. All of it.
But thinking about the process, wouldn't that slow things down though for every single driver? If that's for every order.
But it's for every ride share. So if Tom's sitting there and he's waiting and it's da-ding, da-ding, I'm going to pass that. Then the next one, da-ding, da-ding, boom. And then it's like, hey, put your finger on your phone. Okay.
That's not okay. But we're mixing apples and oranges here. I look forward to having better technology to have safer drivers. That's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Always happy to do that.
I do know what you're saying under your breath right now. I do, because I think Colorado is really like, okay, we got some things accomplished. Whoa, guys, chill. They're really pushing it now. Now they're like, okay, guess what? Now we're going to make you guys have to install equipment. We're going to have to make you have a new development team.
The government's going to put a camera in my car. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be it's not government. This is Uber.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, because in this whole bill, it says at the end of the year, Uber will be audited for any videos they want to pull.
And again,
audited by who?
By the government.
Exactly.
Well, right. It'll be the government asking for that piece of footage.
Doesn't matter. The government forcing.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. That's what they did with the audio stuff, too. I'm not a fan.
But then it would be property of Uber, though, too, right? So if you're recording your car and the government is asking Uber for the footage, that means Uber then has to have the ownership of the video, not the driver. So how do they get the ownership? How does Uber get the ownership of that video when it's coming
Uber
from the
gave
driver?
you your own camera, and let's say you have a display ride too, right? You can run that display ride. That's yours. It's your business.
Yeah.
But Uber now has to do this. It's almost like an anklet, like you're on probation. You got to put this stupid thing in.
Horrible.
Talk about government overreach. No freaking way.
That is bad.
I mean, listen, if I'm running my dash cam and I'm doing a ride share and somebody says, hey, you touched me during the ride, I got that camera going, so go ahead and sue me. I will be pulling that footage. I own it. I'm a business owner.
That's
and
right.
We'll be showing that nothing happened.
There's definitely two sides to this, because I'm personally against further invasions of privacy from technology companies, because really it's just so that they have more things to sell. The more that they have on you, the more they can sell to people, because the greatest commodity, the most valuable commodity is your personal information, and the stuff that you try to keep private, including your fingerprints, your facial scans. That's all sold. That's all for money. But there's a huge safety factor in having a camera for rideshare, because like you said, if somebody says you touched me or they touched you or something, it's, instead of just your word against theirs, there's proof. And there's a safety factor there. But beyond that, I would not do fingerprint scanning, and I would not do facial scanning to, and all those extra steps for every ride. ID verification is important and security cameras are important, but beyond that, I can't get behind it. It's just for money.
Yeah. I mean, you got to understand what we've been seeing going on, and the fact that I do talk to all these people, and I talked to Stephanie, who did, she was in office, but she got, I don't know if I told you guys, but she lost by 7 votes, literally. But she'll be running again in a couple of years. But I still talk to her all the time. I talk to obviously I talk to all sides of all this, because we have a driving group now here that's basically nothing shy of a union. They're involved in the deactivation policy in the law. I've talked to them. It's not like, oh, I hate unions, I'm not going to talk to you guys. I've always been the person who will talk to all the sides, because I don't like unions, but I understand them, so I can talk to you. I'm just not going to change my mind. But it's weird how it's not like all this super crazy beyond left stuff. It's just this group of people who are like, dude, enough. The illegals got so bad here. And I'm not just saying any illegal accounts. Doesn't matter where they came from. But even family members who are citizens bought it on Facebook and run it 24 hours a day. It also limits that you can only drive 10 hours on rideshare at a time and then must take 4 hours off.
Yeah.
I mean, basically between Lyft and Uber, you can drive 24 hours a day for as long as you want.
Yeah.
So,
You have to alternate. Right.
I don't know. Just some stuff going on. I thought, see what you guys thought about it. So a lot of this stuff's going to be coming your way anyway. We're just a testing ground right now for all the non-Prop 22 crap. So
Not if you don't do rideshare.
Yeah, I don't do rideshare.
Right, but I mean, like even like the good stuff, the transparency on food orders.
Yes.
Like Uber still screws around with that a bit, but they have changed their way. But DoorDash is straight up, it is what it is. So it's like I always said, if it sucks, it sucks. But just show me, be honest. They just show me everything honest now.
That'd be nice.
And details can't change. So if I don't know, there's parts that have been nice. That was cool. It was, but like Tom and I used to talk about this kind of stuff all the time. Most of you are probably aware of this without any podcast telling you this, but if you don't follow politics a ton, when you can't get your sides to just kind of sync up, and you start working on a national level, and the federal government wants it, and the state governments all want to treat things different, and you can't get the state governments to align with these big companies who are very new to how we deal with stuff too, and even to like insurance companies, you got to remember that if they can't sync up after a certain amount of time, I mean, it's been since 2009, it's been 15 years. So if we can't sync up between the state and the drivers in 15 years, that's when legislation starts coming in. I'm not a fan, because I also think that even if you think your legislation's okay, once you open the door to legislation, that door never gets shut again. In fact, usually it gets reopened a few times and looked at and added to. And, I mean, that's when you're asking for like big government type stuff. Like Tom was saying, no, I don't want any government. Well, I don't want any government either, but some of these other states are going to horrible ideas. I mean, I would hate to be under pay up legislation in Seattle. I would hate to be in Prop 22 in California. Even they're fighting it now. I would hate to be under the New York law. I mean, 2/3 of the food delivery platform workers lost their job. So how'd that help?
Yeah,
it's a hustle.
Really?
It's a hustle. If you got to keep hustling. I mean, all those many people still found it worth it to hustle until they took it away.
Wait, there's still DoorDash wait lists?
Oh,
High Speed Drifter says that he's been on the wait list for 1.5 years.
Yeah, actually, I don't think that. I mean, I don't think most places put you on right away with DoorDash anymore.
I don't know.
Maybe Pacomi. I mean, I know that was a thing. That was a thing.
1.5 years though for DoorDash.
I know. I mean, it used to. I think it used to take 15 minutes. You passed.
Yeah. I think you might have gotten lost. If it's been that long, reapply. Like call and reapply, because they can lose you on the list. That can happen.
That seems really long for DoorDash.
Yeah, it's really long. Try again.
No, it is what it is. I want to move this into the. I'm gonna let you guys take a look at. I'll just put the PDF in so you guys can have the actual. If you guys want to download the bill, it's Colorado House Bill 25-1291. It's only like 11 or 13 pages or something, and it just talks about all this stuff that we were just talking about. It's very interesting. Check it out. And trying to get this link. Okay. There. Did a link. Okay. But yeah, I don't want legislation either, you guys. Come on.
Nobody does.
Yeah, I mean it's I felt so far behind. There's been a lot of you guys in here tonight. Thank you for joining us for sure. I don't even know what a lot of you have been saying. All I saw was turn it off, and I stopped looking. When you guys
There
were
are
talking
two
about my
questions
driving.
I think everybody agrees with me. Why the heck are you paying attention to
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so other than Kim, does anybody up here on the panel understand why I'm doing this?
I
Well,
get
yeah.
the whole gathering data. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Gathering data so you can
Yeah.
report it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
get
just
it.
even keep an eye on it. I mean, they say right in there, we're not using this for anything. Cool. Well, I'm gonna take a screenshot because I want to see what you don't need that you're taking metrics on.
Oh, thank you, Crystal. Appreciate that.
So,
That
John
is
Thomas.
a fingerprint login. That'd be interesting.
I mean,
Everybody
the
would have
retinal.
to have a newer phone though to do it, right? Not everybody has like a newer phone that would have the thumbprint.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I will never buy a
Yeah.
phone like that. Nope.
Unless in the app, and actually I know about something that GigSafe is working on, where in Incogni as well, where in an app you can square off a little area that on your phone you can push, and it does like in 4 circular motions, it'll pick up enough of the fingerprint to know.
Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
I mean, are you surprised? Think about like the camera settings. This is my iPhone. That's my camera tonight, right now. Like it's like compared to the Apple camera I usually use, it's like high def, right? I mean, like they have the scanners, the abilities are all on these. These phones are $1,500 that we all own these days. So I mean,
I thought
even if you're not
$200.
paying for it, but
You have a $1,500 phone? What?
no, actually, out here in I don't know
Updated
what it's like where
smartphone.
you guys are, but as long as you just jump back and forth between Verizon and AT&T every 3 years, and I have a family plan, my son, my phones, my mom. So I mean, I've got like some other phones on there, and after the 3 years, I can go from AT&T, go over to Verizon. They'll give me 4 new phones, and I'm not talking about paying them off. Just 4 new phones if I move my lines for 3 years on a contract. Live that out, and then go back to the other one.
Do you have to make payments on the phone as part of your contract?
If I stuck with AT&T every time, yes, I would go in and trade in my phone, and they'd say, okay, we'll give you 7 against this being 12. It's 5. And we'll work that into your payments. But if you actually switch the carriers, they'll give you new phones.
But you do you pay for the phones, or I'm confused?
No, like if I went in right now, they'd give me 4. I think we're 7 months out from our 3-year contract ending. If at the end of that, if I go in, I'm AT&T right now. If I go into Verizon, they'll give me 4 iPhone 16s with no charge at all to me if I move the lines over to.
What's your monthly phone bill? What do you pay
I
for your
don't know.
phone bill?
For 4 lines, somewhere, I don't know, $250,
Jesus Christ.
$240.
Okay.
But that's
You
data,
are-
data plan, everything. I mean, I have a lot of things on mine, so.
Okay, so what's your phone bill?
like $35. I have a $200 or $300 Google Pixel. And yeah, my son's phone bill is $25. Mine's or my husband's is like $35. Mine might be free. But I don't make any payments on it or anything. I would never have a ridiculous phone bill or a super expensive phone. They're too breakable for that. Let's be honest. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I run all these apps just fine.
Yeah. I mean, this is just like my friend that I've known from Michigan who lives out here as well, just did it for her and her husband. She's like, she even made the joke to me because we both know about it. She's like, oh, I got to switch from AT&T to Verizon for 3 years. She went in, they got 2 new iPhone 16s, traded in their trash. And because you guys, I think you all know that you can code break a phone, but if you get them from one of these providers, that phone has to be used with that provider. You can't take an AT&T phone and do it at a Verizon and get it turned on.
Yeah,
but you can buy an iPhone from Apple and get it turned on anywhere you want.
Are you exclusively an Apple guy by chance?
For phones, I don't do Android.
So that's a yes.
Well, I mean, like I use PCs and Mac and like computers. Okay. I got no problem with non-Mac products. I just, as far as phones, yeah.
Okay, that's a problem right there.
Yeah.
There was a question in the chat from Christopher Taylor about Instacart Shelf. What is that?
That
He was
They're
saying, like,
asking
Instacart's
drivers or shoppers to start taking pictures of shelves. It hasn't come to my market yet. So supposedly it's come to Christopher's market.
But for
So,
what, though? Like,
Christopher, you
a
must have the
date,
caper
some-
cart then too, because it seems like it's everywhere the caper cart is, which is few places.
Never heard
Because
of
the
that.
caper cart's also now spying on you. It's the caper cart has a camera in the front that when you walk down aisles, it's seeing what they're out of, supposedly. And
Really?
so that then they can say, no, this store doesn't have that when the customer's ordering. I don't think that'll ever happen. Because then that's too much of a risk that the customer would cancel. They're ordering 60 things and 2 of them they really need to make this turkey dinner, and you're out of one and there's no replacements. They might cancel the whole order. Like Instacart wants you to think it's probably there. Yeah, let's take a chance.
Yeah, that's
But also
weird.
then it's like, they want to have like Kim take pictures. But, is everybody that's walking into the store going to be signing TOSs that there's going to be Instacart shoppers taking their pictures?
No. No. Weird.
I mean,
I've
I don't
never
know.
done Instacart, honestly.
I know that wouldn't work here because technically we're not allowed to just snap people's pictures if it's
Oh,
used
yeah.
for commercial purposes in Quebec.
My thing
Yeah,
is
there's gotta
if
be
it's
some
quick and
laws.
easy, and if it counts as a batch, and you're trying to do a climb to diamond, then why not take the 10-15 minutes, snap a couple pictures, and it counts more points towards your, like your tier status on Instacart. If it's that easy, depends on how much it
I
is.
find
Look at
find
Kim.
it's
Look
interesting
at
that they're
Kim
doing
taking the monetary route.
I always
Look,
take the
you can
monetary
always
route.
take
This
the
is my
monetary
money,
route.
dumbass. So I'm going to go do that.
Always.
Always take the, like, why are we doing this if we're not taking the monetary route?
Exactly.
We are
So is
taking
this
the
kind of like
monetary
when
route.
DoorDash wanted you to take a picture of the menu?
What?
Did they?
Yeah,
Or,
that was back in-
or another thing, remember that DoorDash also had you verify if store was open if people were abusing that.
Oh.
Well, that was during the holiday.
Restaurant
That was during
closed,
Christmas.
and you keep getting orders from it, keep taking them and canceling them, and then you could get
Yeah.
deactivated for that. Then they were like, go take everything's just a joke with them. Everything.
Joke.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, they're, everything's propped up. The money from DoorDash is not being made like it was. I mean, yes, they say they're making more, but they're charging 3 times as much and they're paying the drivers half. They're having a huge problem with this legality in not just Colorado, but all across the nation right now. They're actually, I know that everybody in here right now is going to say, no, bullshit, it's oversaturated in my market. Yes, it is. But they are actually, it might not even be ethical, but they're trying to find ways to make it so that orders are going to get taken. Right now, they're kind of screwed. For the last year, people have been illegally working the platforms and taking every $2 offer there was. People aren't doing it anymore. And it's not like everybody just rose together. They just decided, hey, all the illegal accounts need to go. We've known how to do this for a year and a half, but now there's a bunch of senators and things talking to us, and they know, and there's a RICO case going on. We gotta look like we care a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying,
I mean-
DoorDash? Like we care a little bit.
Sorry, I
just
was
like-
typing in the chat.
I'm not for over regulation or like a ton of laws or anything. Like, cause like you said, it can get out of hand. But I do think the transparency law needs to happen. Like, there needs to be universal for customer and for DoorDash, because people need to be able to make informed decisions. And like, oh god, the amount of like, it drives me nuts. I'll like be watching like a commentary YouTube channel or something, and they'll talk about DoorDash, and every time, like almost every time, unless they're a delivery driver, they bitch and moan about like having to tip preemptively. Like, why should I have to tip for a service that isn't completed? Like, nobody knows how it works. Nobody knows what we do or the cost or anything. Not the customer, and the driver doesn't have enough information to make informed decisions. We need the transparency, and customers need to be told how the apps work and how the drivers get paid and what our upfront cost is. That does need to happen, and the apps won't do it on their own. They have to be made to do it.
Right.
I actually had this conversation yesterday in one of my mommy groups because there was a mom that was asking if it's worth it to do Uber Eats you know, in the morning times because she wants to make a little bit more money. And, you know, obviously I went in there and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm never going to tell someone not to add another stream of income. However, here's what you need to look out for. And there was someone in there that commented and said, I always wondered how it works. How much should I tip? Do you get any money from Uber? Like, am I tipping enough? And when I explained the whole thing, they were like, we never knew that. And we order all the time. And this is the thing. Customers do not understand the way that the apps work. They don't understand the way that people get paid. They don't understand that, you know, we're independent contractors and we have wear and tear and gas and all this stuff. And it's true. You're right. Like, customers don't know this. And they need to know it. If they're going to be using the apps, they need to know these things.
Yeah, they associate with us with waitresses. Like, we're not waitresses. You know, we have it's a different job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So Christopher, just real quick, Christopher, I just want to highlight Christopher. With tariffs going into effect, wonder how it will affect the shopping apps or even gig apps.
I think it's just going to affect everything, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be a nightmare for a while, so just hang in there, man. But as we run out of time, I need to address this because I was in the service industry and owned bars and restaurants. So to what Acacia just said, yes, minimum wage could be $10 here in Colorado, and then every place pays like $17, $18 to start. They don't use that minimum wage. However, in the service industry, there is a server and a bartender wage. It's called tip wage. And so the hour, like when I was in the bar industry, I mean, I got out in 2018, so it's been a while, but I was in it for 2 decades. So look, if you were a bartender, you were making $3.15 an hour against your tips. That was minimum wage. Servers, $2.13 an hour plus tips, because of the way tips work out. So you're still actually a W-2 employee of the restaurant as a server or a bartender. And if you hurt yourself or whatever, you're under comprehensive insurance. Everything's covered. You're running a legit business. So that's why they allow that allowance is there. But we don't get and don't let those minimum active time BS things throw you. We're not employees, so we don't have that even semi coverage of the servers and whatnot.
And the other important distinction is that servers and bartenders do not pay to be at work. We pay to be at work. Every mile that we drive, we're paying for. We pay every time we turn on that app, and every time that we accept an order, we have an upfront cost. We have to have a cost to work. That is not the case for somebody who is a W-2 employee that works in a restaurant. They don't pay to be there. Like, you know, they had obviously their drive.
I've worked some super high volume restaurants though, where if I'm bartending, I've been owner, I've been manager, but if I'm just bartending and it's like baseball season, making a killing, I'll work 85 hours in, let's say, 2 weeks or 90 hours. I have gone in and picked up a paycheck for those 2 weeks that says $0 pay because your tips offset it. So if you're raising your tips, and that's, again, nobody in legal listen, but I claim all my credit card tips, of course. I mean, I guess nobody uses cash anymore, but when I was doing it, cash was a thing. So I made 300 credit card tips. I made 0 in cash tips.
See, I didn't know that too, and there must be like, how common is that for like a restaurant owner to like deduct your like tips from your hourly pay? Like you don't get hourly if you make a certain amount. Is that normal in restaurants?
No, if you're a manager or a cook or something, no, you wouldn't get anything deducted. But for the servers, yeah, you got to take the tips out. Otherwise, you have to pay the tax from the bar. You guys, we are out of time. Morning. I know. Nice timing. I do have for next week. I do have a story for Tom. I want to get a little more on it. Again, I was running in the door to get this together, but about the Dallas Fort Worth. They're launching autonomous now too. Atlanta's launching autonomous. Again, they're not real guys. So, we've always heard about these partnerships, but there's a new one between Domino's and DoorDash. Like I was saying, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of fighting for exclusive contracts. You guys, I cannot run over, and it looks like I'm gonna, unless I cut the song short, and I'm still gonna do it because we have never once gone over. We have lots left. We'll hit it next week. See you next week. Thank you for joining us. Peace.